In this vlog, we are going to deal with the implementation of MediaQuery class in Flutter application. So this is a built-in class which is being provided by Flutter to us, and if you are not familiar with this particular implementation, just let me know in the comment section below. Most of you might be using this particular class in your application development but not sure like what it can do, or you're just trying to use it for that particular purpose but you are not sure like what it can do more and how it can help you in Flutter application development. And if you're coming from a web background, then you will be already familiar with this particular media query, like how you use in your CSS development. Okay, so in this part of the tutorial we'll try to focus more on this particular class and what are the widgets it provides us, and with the help of these widgets how we can improve the way we code the Flutter application. So I hope you are interested in this particular topic, and just let me know in the comment section below how far you are familiar with this particular class and what are the things you know and what are the basic things you make use of it in your application development. So today I would like to quickly get started with this particular implementation, and in our coming tutorials we'll be concentrating more on how this particular media query class helps us and how we need to optimize and make use of this particular class such that it will not affect our application performance. Yes, you have heard it right, and this particular class will also help in our overall app performance if we are not going to use it in a proper way. So now let us try to see a basic example. So in this part of the example I would like to just show you a small demo, so I don't require a void main here, and here I like to just specify a stateless widget like my app here, and we are not going to run anything here. Just I'm going to show you the overview of a media query class here, and here I'm going to specify this like media query, and just you can start typing media query and here you will be finding a lot of suggestions here. And the first one is like media query data and require widget child. We don't require that particular import here. We need a media query widget that we get from the material.dart file here. So media query dot, and now you again got a lot of suggestions over here like remove padding, add accessibility, navigation of, and the proper use of this particular class is like specifying of context here. And now you got a wide variety of things out of which you can pick the necessary things you require in terms of application development. For example, like size, orientation, accessible navigation, and all these things. You can just go through this particular drop down list, and to say you like there are like more than or 20 widgets which are being provided by this particular media query class. In the beginning of this particular tutorial I have said like in order to avoid the issues with your app performance, right? Yes, whenever you are going to deal with a class that deals with 20 plus widgets, then you need to deal it in a proper way such that it won't affect your app performance. Still you are confused, I think, like how it will affect your app performance. Okay, now let us try to see. I'm going to make use of this particular what we call orientation, for example. So we require the current orientation of our application, like our app. So it might be like portrait or landscape. And why do we require orientation is to address the user with a proper design. So the portrait screen design won't be suitable for a landscape one, right? So in this way, first of all we need to know in what particular orientation our device is currently. We deal with multiple platforms, for example like Android, iOS, and web even, right? So desktop, right? Okay, so we need to specifically know the orientation here, like is it in a landscape or portrait. So media query provides this particular data for us, and we need not specifically implement any other functionality to find out the device orientation. Okay, fine, you can make use of this particular media query plugin here, and you can find the orientation of the device. Now if you make use of this particular object, you can find the orientation, that is what we call uh, portrait or landscape. So you can just try printing this particular media query, and it will show you like what is the current orientation. So with this particular media query you can get the orientation. So yes, we are fine with this particular way of fetching the orientation. But if you try to go through the list of other things like media query provides us, like size and device pixel ratio, disable animations, a lot of things. I said right, 20 plus widgets it will provide to us. But what if you are trying to rebuild this particular widget? Okay, this my app is there, right? This particular widget, if you are trying to rebuild it every time, like when you are setting the state, for example, it's like a stateful widget, consider, and you are trying to set state, and every time you are trying to rebuild, it will completely retry, I mean it will completely try to load the media query plugin the next time, right? So after the setting state, it will try to reload the media query, and media query will reload all its 20 widgets here. And it's like orientation, size, device pixel ratio, all these things again try to get refreshed. And unknowingly you are doing this particular step here, because we are not sure, like we are only fetching orientation here, but how come in the background all the different widgets are getting refreshed? So this is out of our scope. Mostly basically for beginners I'm saying this. Experienced professionals will try to handle it, but from from Flutter 3.1 version, we have got a very good way of handling this particular issue, what I can say. Yes, it's like an issue because we are loading a lot of data which is not even required for us. So in this particular example, we only require orientation of the device and we don't require any other thing from media query class. Then why we need to load all the 20 widgets, right? So to address this properly, we have got a way of dealing with. So instead of media query off here, what I'll do, media query, I'll start typing orientation. So this is what I require right currently. And if you require size, you can type size off. And if you require device pixel here, you can start typing device pixel ratio of. Okay, so we require orientation, so I specify orientation of and context. uh, that's it, we are now good to go, and we can remove this extra thing. And yes, and now how many times you reload this particular class and how many times you refresh it, then we are only going to get the orientation out of complete media query class here. So this is the proper way, like how we can use the media query class and its corresponding widgets depending upon our requirement. Okay, so you can create multiple objects here, or else we have like orientation here, so you can specify this like orientation. And you can also create one more thing for size, and here it's just showing that it's not used, and again it's not any error. So this is the way how we deal with this particular media query class, and I hope you have got a good idea at least for the beginners. And in the coming tutorials we'll try to see a demo on this particular usage, and I will try to show you a demo like how exactly you need to make use of a media query class in your Flutter application, and how you can address minor issues which you face in your application development with the help of this particular media query class. And I hope this is very clear for you, and if you are having any queries in this particular class, and if you are facing any issues in implementation, just let me know in the comment section below, and also let me know what are the different topics you want to get started with the Flutter application development in the comment section below, so that we can deal with them in our coming tutorials. And also there is a list of tutorials I'll be adding in the description section below, like playlist, which we have already dealt in our channel, and I hope you go through them if you are not familiar with those topics. And this is it for this particular tutorial, and in the next tutorial we'll get into more advanced topics on media query class implementation. So if you like this tutorial, do like, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content on Flutter.